Okay, thank you for attending. And one of the things I'd like to do here before I begin is ask you to hold off on your questions until the very end of the presentation. I know that everybody's got a really limited amount of time. I want to get right through the material as quick as possible. And I'm actually going to do something a little bit different today with this presentation. Normally, it's more like a webinar style, and I kind of introduce myself. And I think a lot of you, especially many of you that are in the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, you already know who I am. So we can kind of skip right past that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Today, I am going to talk a little bit about my Forex Mastery trading course, online course. It's a coaching program. I'll talk about that at the end. But if you want to trade for a living, this webinar is going to change your life. It really will change. If you're still struggling right now with, earning consistent profits, this is where you want to be. And I highly, I say this all the time, but I highly recommend for a lot of traders that are still struggling, even after a few years, that they start with the basics and they go back to the beginning. And very often, most people don't know what that means. Like, they don't know where to begin. They don't know where to start. I did basically the same thing. I made all the same mistakes. I started off with like candlestick patterns and indicators, a couple of different indicators, and I didn't spend a lot of time studying them and really get to know them until a little bit later into my trading career. But I thought things were going to work right away and I was going to start making money like on my very first day, but that's not how it goes. So before I begin, please understand this. My results are not typical. I have been trading for 20 years. I trade full-time every single day, even on the weekends. If I'm not talking to a coaching student, I'm analyzing my own trades. I'm looking at the charts. I'm reading something. I'm constantly learning. I don't think I've ever spent a day without looking at something that was market related. And when I talk about making money later on in this presentation, I'm not implying that you or anyone else will achieve any results. And again, the reason that I say that is that it really does take action. Like, you really have to know where to start and what to do first in order for you to be able to make money consistently. And I'm going to explain and walk you through the process here in just a moment. Now, when I talk about some of my clients, please know that their results are not typical either. They do put in a lot of work. They study this material. When I show you some of these strategies in just a moment, the first thing I want to warn you is paper trade it or demo trade it. You're going to see things that are going to look really similar to what you're probably already doing. But this information sometimes, when I share it with my coaching students, it's like they say, this was like the missing piece. This was the stuff that I couldn't see. I couldn't get it. And that's what you're probably going to experience watching this presentation. So be careful if you take this information immediately and try to find a trade and then execute. Again, this is not like a trade recommendation. It's just educational. So be aware that you may make some mistakes. There may be some missing components that you don't completely understand or grasp. So please be very careful. I don't want you to go out and make a mistake and lose real money on your real account thinking that it makes sense to you and it should work. You got to make sure that you're doing it right. You want to do it with a coach. You want to do it with somebody who can guide you to make sure you're not making any mistakes when you execute these strategies and methodologies. Again, when I show you numbers later on in the presentation, some of my clients, they're to illustrate the power and the potential of using a trading system like this. But again, in no way am I implying that the scenario I describe will actually happen to you or anyone else. Again, you're going to have to put in the time to learn the stuff and to execute correctly. Have a coach that's there with you to make sure that you're doing it properly. I'm obviously going to make an offer at the end of it. It is expensive. It does involve working closely with me, having interaction with me on a one-on-one coaching level. But the information, again, that I'm going to share with you in just a moment is how-to material. I am going to show you how to do some things today that will help make your trading easier, and then I'll offer to help you with it to make sure that you succeed. So this is usually where I continue on and start sharing my story. Again, if you've spent some time in the Facebook group, the private group, or watching some of the videos on my YouTube channel, or going to the website, you're pretty familiar with my story. I started back in 2001. I'm not going to go down that. We'll save that for the end of the presentation. Right now, what I want to do is I want to jump right into the charts, and I want to show you how I walk my coaching students through the beginning, the middle, and the end, and I want to show you what's involved. So let's get started. I'm going to pause here for just a moment. I'm going to pause this recording. This is being recorded, so I can share the replay. You can watch it again, and I'm going to jump right into my charts. Give me just a moment here. Okay, so here we are on my first chart. This is my point and figure. If you see a point and figure, please type in yes. You can see my screen before I begin. Make sure that everything's okay. We don't have any technical problems. It's a point and figure chart. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start off with what could be considered the most difficult part of my trading system, and it really isn't. It's very, very easy. I promise it is very easy once you understand it. And that is what I was talking about a moment ago when I was saying that sometimes you kind of need to start at the very beginning. So obviously with this particular tool, the point and figure, there is a slight learning curve, but I promise you it is very, very easy. And once you understand it, and I'm going to give you a little bit of history as we move along, as we go through some of these setups and we talk about why I use point and figure, what it does, how it'll help you, and how it helps other professionals. And then we're going to move on to a bar chart. I'm also going to show you some volume. So if you're in the private Facebook group, you hear me talking about this quite a bit. So the primary outline of my trading system is basically, and I say this all the time, you need to start at the very beginning, which would be the general understanding of supply and demand. In any market, in any business, anything that's moving, anything that's going to involve the money transferring from hand to hand, you're going to see the constant battle of supply and demand, and you need to be able to identify it. You need to be able to read it. You need to be able to understand what it is you're looking at on the charts. Now, when I first started trading back in 2001, I did not understand these. I understood the principles, but I didn't understand how to find them and how to read the charts. So what I say very often with my coaching students, and in the first module, in the first phase, once they get in, they get into the program, I start them off with a few exercises, and I have them look at charts with no indicators on them. Now, the very first time somebody told me to do that, and they suggested the idea of being able to look at a chart and not use any indicators, I was a little lost. I didn't want to try it. And what I was doing is pretty much what everybody is doing. They jump into this business, they figure out candlestick patterns, they start hearing all about candlestick patterns. So they start looking for candlestick patterns to trade. When we trade off of point and figure, and you can see where I'm moving my mouse, my cursor around here, you can clearly see very, very defined levels of support and resistance. And that is because point and figure is created, the X's in this up column, the zeros or the O's in the down column, they're created, and they're, you get a new X or a new zero in a column based on the activity. It is not based on time. So this isn't like a 1 hour chart or a 30-minute chart. Now you can set and construct the point and figure to mimic a smaller time frame. So let's say on days that I can day trade and I have more time, then I'm going to change the settings on my point and figure to mimic a faster moving market, right? Like a 30-minute or a 15-minute or a 1 hour chart, sometimes even a 5-minute. And then other days when I want to swing trade and I know I'm not going to be able to apply that much time to the trades, to the markets, I'm going to use and set up my charts, especially a point and figure, to mimic the 4 hour or the daily time frame or the weekly time frame. Now I do use the bar charts because we use both of them in conjunction. We use the bar charts and the information, and we analyze the phases of consolidation, and then I transfer that data over here to the point and figure. So when I was talking about earlier, you need to be able to read and identify and see the battle between supply and demand and the consolidation that it creates when there's that balance. And obviously when there's an imbalance and you get more of one or the other, the supply and demand, it's going to cause some kind of a reaction. That's when you get that breakout and the sustainable move. So the question that I remember going through, it used to go through my head when the first year I was trading, I was constantly thinking about this. What is it that causes price to move? Is it some kind of program that all of the, because I kept reading, the banks are moving price. The banks control it. The banks do this. The banks do that. I kept reading it, but nobody could accurately describe what that really means and what it really looks like. There's a lot of guys out there, a lot of people that are pitching their trading course, and they say how we trade with the banks, we trade with the smart money, but none of them can accurately describe what that means, that I'm going to show you what it looks like today. It is very important that you understand who you're trading against, because you're trading against professionals and they will take all of your money if you're not careful. That's when people blow up trading accounts. We want to be trading with the smart money, not against them. We don't want to be like everybody else. And it's really unfortunate because a lot of people don't learn these concepts before they blow up their trading account. And many of them, if they blow up a trading account and they go away from this business and they never come back, they think it was a scam, and they never understand this process and these principles. But this is what causes and moves the market. This is what causes price to move, and this is who does it. It's the smart money. Now, we refer to phases of consolidation that are at the highs, we refer to them as areas of distribution. So very often what you're going to see is smart money distributing shares throughout this distribution phase before they initiate that markdown phase. So they're out of these shares at these areas of resistance inside of the consolidation phase, which again we refer to as distribution. At the lows, when you're looking at a range of consolidation after a downtrend, you're looking at accumulation. So at that point, smart money is accumulating these shares, and that process, again, these are the best traders that you're going to be trading against. If you're not careful, they're going to take your money. You want to trade with them, and they make it very obvious. There's no other way around it. It's very obvious if you know how to read the charts along with volume, where they're initiating the beginning phases of their campaign. The campaign, again, meaning that they're going to distribute or acquire shares prior to a markdown or markup phase. And that's what we want to trade with. Excuse me. So, again, distribution is basically consolidation at the highs. Accumulation is basically consolidation at the lows. Now, we analyze the phases of consolidation. I'm going to show you what that looks like on a bar chart because it's a lot easier to see. But you can see the pattern if you're comfortable and familiar with looking at a point and figure chart. I can see the same pattern right here. I'm going to show you in just a moment the same setup that you see right here where I'm moving my cursor around. This was, the last couple of days here trading activity. You can see we actually took a trade here on this move through support. It reversed. We got an entry here on the pound dollar. This was the pound dollar at 1.3635, and we had a target up here at 1.3726. That was our final target. We had our first target and then a second target. And if it continues, we can trail it a little bit further to psychological levels. So point and figure is not only helping me identify a precise moment to get into the trade. Sorry about that. These things move around a little bit when I change the settings on them. Point and figure is helping me identify a very precise entry. So there is no guessing. As I mentioned earlier, these columns are not created or generated based on time. They're based on the change in volatility according to the way I set up and construct this chart. So understanding and knowing how to construct a chart, a point and figure chart, is critical. There's different ways that you're going to set it up in different markets. So this is also another exercise. So one of the exercises I have my coaching students do is counting the waves, measuring the volume. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And they do that by hand. You can draw them on the charts. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. I have my coaching students send me their charts, and it's fun. It really is a lot of fun. If you're going to make money in this business, you want to understand it, it's a lot of fun. It's an exercise where time just goes by really fast and you want to keep doing it. It is not mandatory that you continue to count the waves, but you do count the waves and you measure the activity, which is what I'm going to show you here in a moment, when you're looking for a turning point in the market to get into the trade, and then you're confirming the opportunity here with point and figure. It sets up and lines up all right around the same. I'm going to show you this trade right here. It's going to make a lot of sense where I'm moving my cursor. We had that, that spike to the downside, and it basically failed and reversed and came right back up again. So point and figure is giving me a precise entry, and it's also allowing me to calculate and project how far price is going to go. That's another problem that a lot of traders face. They get into a trade. Let's say they get lucky. Let's say that maybe a candlestick pattern just happened to be developing right here at support and they just got lucky. They got in. Their little indicator at the bottom of the chart confirmed it on that particular day, because sometimes they do work, right? Candlestick patterns do work sometimes. Indicators work sometimes. I'm not knocking all of them. I'm not saying that they don't work. What I'm saying is that when you learn these methods and you learn how to read a chart truly based on supply and demand and tracking smart money and its behavior and getting in when it's likely to break, and cause this big move that we saw here, this big rally to the upside, you're going to be trading alongside with them. And you're going to notice that your trades are going to produce bigger profits, and you're not going to be jumping in and scalping for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 pips. I used to do that. And I was so proud at the end of the day, when I was done, and I was trading standard lots. So let's say, for those of you who are not too familiar, if you're trading Forex and you're trading a standard lot, let's say euro dollar, pound dollar, each pip will pay approximately $10 a pip on a standard lot. And I was trading about 5 standard lots. So if I got 10 pips, I'm looking at about $100 times however many lots I was trading. Lots is basically like contracts. So if I had 5 lots, I'm looking at $500 is what I would make. So on one trade, if I'm getting about 10 pips. Well, this trade paid 90 pips. So this is a huge trade. And to me, back when I first started trading, if I got into trades like this, I was like amazed. I couldn't believe that I was making that much money on a standard lot. That's your ultimate goal, is to get to the point where you can trade that. Now, I will share with you something that I dropped into the Facebook group a while back, which is that you can trade for some of these firms, these proprietary trading firms, that will allow you to trade their money. So they'll set you up with a $100,000 trading account. If they set you up with a $100,000 trading account, you're trading standard lots. If you're trading standard lots and you're making profits and points like this on these, these charts on these currencies every day, when you're using this methodology, I mean, you could potentially earn 300, 500, maybe even 600 or 700 pips in a week. It's going to vary due to the market activity, but it's not uncommon. And at that point, you get to keep 70% if you trade for some of these proprietary trading firms. There is a qualification phase with these proprietary trading funds. You're not just going to sign up and they just give you $100,000. You have to go through qualification. So your first 30 days, you have to qualify. And then your second, you're going to do it again. You're going to qualify. If you've been consistent, then they, at that point, once you pass the first 2 months, you qualify, they give you your $100,000 trading account, and you get to keep 70% of the profits. Inside of my trading course and my coaching program, I have an additional inside trading course. It's more guidance, and I help my coaching students who want to trade for a proprietary trading fund. I help them get through the testing phase during that first 2 months. They're going to go through the program at first, but I do offer that assistance. It is something that's included in the purchase price of my coaching program. A brand new coaching student was trading with me today. Sent me a text message. I do give all of my coaching students my cell phone so they can send me a text message. And when he saw this breakout this morning, he asked me to confirm it. He saw the reversal. He, I teach them how to count the waves and find the reversal here. I'm going to show you here in just a moment on a point and figure bar chart. And then he asked me about this entry here on the point and figure. I confirmed it. So he was able to get into the trade knowing that he wasn't making any mistakes, and he had the same count. So you'll hear me say this very often, that when we're all using point and figure, we all see the same thing. We all see the same setup, we all see the same entry, and we all see the same target. I was talking about a moment ago when I started talking about targets here, that when you get into a trade, if you're lucky to be up, let's say 20, 30, 40 pips, and you don't know how you did it, and you don't know how much further it's going to go, well, if you close and lock in the 20, let's say, or 30 pips, but it goes another 100 pips beyond that, you start getting angry, right? I remember getting angry. I would say to myself, how can I figure out how much further it's going to go so that I can hold on to some of these trades and get more of the profits that are available? I can see it happening over and over again, but I didn't know how to calculate and how to figure out how far it was going to go. So I started using the Fibonacci tool. Usually what people will do is they'll go to the easiest tool or the easiest source that they think will give them the answer. And very often when you cut corners, we've all know this, when you cut corners and you try to take the easy road, it usually is not. It usually doesn't end very well. So sometimes the Fibonacci tool, using the extension targets, sometimes it works. Point and figure works all of the time, as long as you do it right. It works all of the time. I have examples inside of the Facebook group. So I know I keep talking about the Facebook group, but if you're not in the private Facebook group and you're watching this as a replay, I highly recommend going to Forex Day Trading Academy and joining the private Facebook group, because I teach a lot of this information. You can see these videos. So we talk about finding these take profit targets and getting into these trades at these specific locations. So let me move on. Let's go ahead, excuse me, let's go ahead and take a look at the bar chart. Before I'll end here with my coaching student who took this trade, and he ended up earning approximately $1,800 on this trade alone. And this same setup here developed on the euro dollar. It didn't move as far, but it's set up the same in a very similar manner. The same basic setup. He was able to take that trade, and he took the trade on the Australian dollar, which pretty much did the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over here in just a moment. Give me a moment to pause, and I am recording this, so I am going to pause the presentation. I'm going to open up my other charts. You're going to see bar charts and volume, and I'm going to show you how we were able to analyze the consolidation that you see here and the head fake to the downside and the reversal where smart money started to step back in before this massive move to the upside. This happens all the time. It just doesn't happen every single time. We just wait for it. All right, so let's take a look at a bar chart. So this is where everything starts for me. This is how I walk my coaching students through this process. So we're going to take the data that we see here on the bar chart. We're looking at wave. We're analyzing the bars themselves. We're noticing the range or the spread, which is technically the high and the low of a particular bar. You'll notice that some of them stand out, some of them are relatively small. You'll notice that some sort of close at the same level that they opened at. There's different things going on here, and these are the clues that we're looking for. Now, at specific support and resistance levels, we're likely to see something happen if there's going to be some kind of a reversal. So there's another thing that we're doing here with this consolidation phase. So we categorize them into either accumulation or distribution. Distribution, again, is a consolidation phase up at levels of resistance before a markdown phase, a downtrend. Accumulation is a consolidation range at support levels prior to a breakout and a move higher. And then along the way, if we're looking at an overall larger trend, let's say right now what we're looking at is a 1 hour chart, 1 hour bar chart, pound futures. So if we're looking at, let's say, a daily time frame and we were looking at, let's say, an uptrend like this, again, we know that at some point it's going to stop and we're going to see that stopping action. Again, if it's like a buying climax, let's say, up here at resistance, and then we see the automatic reaction or rally the opposite side, which sort of solidifies that stopping action right there where this uptrend stops. At that point, we can determine that price is likely to start moving sideways if it's going to unfold and behave the way we expect it to, meaning that smart money is stepping in, possibly. We're going to track this along the way. We don't immediately know when we see this kind of behavior right here where I'm moving my cursor. These two bars right here, that's not enough. That doesn't say that smart money, we can assume that they put some kind of a stopping action here at this point. But why would they do that? So if they're going to accumulate more shares before another breakout and a move higher, that's one option, right? You see that pause. You see an uptrend and then it sort of pauses and goes sideways for a little while, and then it breaks out to the upside and continues on that next leg or next extension higher in that uptrend. The other possibility is that this could be a top. And if it's a top, we'd be looking at an area of distribution where smart money at this point is distributing these shares before a mark down phase. So along the way, there are ways for us to calculate this, measure this, and watch the behavior of smart money to determine if it is in fact distribution, where they're distributing shares before a markdown phase and they're done with the trade, or if they're accumulating more before they are interested in moving price higher, taking it to another level. So these are the clues that we're looking for. Again, this was, if we step back, I was just kind of describing what was taking place here with this uptrend. Let's just imagine that this was a daily time frame. But this is a 1 hour chart, and we can see the same thing. We were in uptrend, it stopped here, it pulled back, and now we're looking at this new range of consolidation. So at this point, that's what gave us this trade here this morning, where the trade ended up paying 90 pips on that target, which was calculated on the point and figure chart. So if you remember with the point and figure chart just a moment ago, the range of consolidation up there at that resistance level is this range right here. This is the same range. Now it looks obviously slightly different, but the pattern and the shapes and the support and resistance levels are there on the point and figure chart. Point and figure is different in the sense that, again, it's not based on time. So if you look at a column and a point and figure chart, it's not based on, let's say, 30 minutes to an hour or anything like that. It's based on the amount of volatility of the action, the behavior, the momentum that's all taking place within a specified range, and that is determined on or based on how we construct that point and figure chart. You have to be able to construct that point and figure chart correctly. So very often what we see is when price approaches a support level, here, that final phase, we can see more volume, and at these levels very often. And smart money is going to, if it is a range of reaccumulation, which is, again, a temporary phase of consolidation when price was previously in an uptrend, and then this is sideways action before another breakout to the upside where that uptrend would resume. So this could potentially be reaccumulation. And if it is, we would expect to see smart money acquiring more shares as it approaches the lows. They're not going to do it up here at the highs. They're going to do it down here at the lows. And knowing that, we can watch volume levels again to make sure that everything is lining up as we would expect it to be when smart money is acquiring more. This is the footprint and the signature that we're looking for. Now, I'm not going to get into the details and the specifics on this bar because we can spend another 40 minutes talking about just the shapes of some of these bars, the range, how they close, the reversal patterns, all of that. But basically what we saw here was a move to the downside with a lot more volume, but that was the last final push lower. And you can see that with all of that effort and all of this volume coming back into the market at this point, it didn't close very far away from support. So we start noticing the shortening of either these up thrusts or these down thrusts. And we notice that again, with a lot of momentum and a lot of activity, it still isn't going very far. And you can see that on the next bar, price never took out the low of that final bearish candle with all of that volume coming back in. It stopped right there and reversed and turned around and went right back up again. That's one of the last final clues. Now, beyond that, again, you can see volume coming right back up into that that bullish candle. And that bullish bar right there prints 5,300 contracts, which was the largest move for that particular trading session. That was another clue. So again, we're tracking the behavior of smart money. We're watching volume, supply and demand, and that volume and the characteristics of these bars. Besides that, we're also analyzing the phases. So we're counting the waves, as I mentioned, watching volume, looking at support and resistance, paying attention and being aware of the fact that if this is, again, an area of reaccumulation or even distribution, it's going to take some time for all of this to unfold. Smart money isn't going to immediately jump right in here and all of a sudden we're going to get a big reversal. This move right here was a result of all of the work that was being done throughout this consolidation phase. There is a phase A, there is a phase B, there is a phase C, there is a phase D. And there, based on these phases, there are better trade opportunities to get into the trade than other locations. So you can see that throughout the phase B range, we stay out of it. I generally will stay out of phase B. It's very choppy. It's very volatile. You get, a move to the downside, and then you get a bullish move, and you start thinking, hey, maybe it's going to go back up to resistance. It doesn't. It turns around and comes back down. Then you try to short it, and you think it's going to take out that low, but it doesn't, and then it turns around and goes back up. That confusing behavior is what I used to trade because I didn't have enough experience or knowledge. I didn't know any of the things that I just shared with you. I didn't understand how it operated, how the markets operate, who's behind it, how it moves, why it moves, and what it looks like. And at that point, inside of phase B, I'm jumping in and out, and I'm losing, and I'm winning a little bit, and I'm scalping, but I'm losing more than I'm earning, and it's a mess. We've all done it. We've all done it. And it is because at the beginning, none of us really understand these concepts unless we begin here, understanding these concepts. So again, understanding where and why smart money trades within this range and how they accumulate or distribute, that's going to give us a better opportunity. And here was that final move to the downside, testing to make sure that this reversal and this uptrend here, this breakout to the upside, was in fact going to hold. And that's exactly how we were able to trade this, getting in at this location right here. And you'll notice that approximately from the time that we got into the trade with that point and figure, for the most part, it was a pretty straight move right to the take profit level based on the point and figure, 90 pips. And that typically happens in almost every one of the trades that we get into. We don't mess around here. We don't mess around here. We don't necessarily mess around up here. We trade when it's ready to break out. We know that smart money's done all of the work necessary inside of this consolidation phase, and here it's ready to break. Now, it's not only us who's tracking this information, it's also other, as they refer to it, strong hands, other informed interests, big money, smart money, other firms that are getting in and they're tracking the same behavior. This is the signature, and this is the behavior that we're all looking for if we want to trade with the smart money. We want to know when it's ready to break out and ready to make its move. So the phase analysis is extremely important because it'll tell you when to stay out based on the phase that it's in, where price is, and then it'll tell you when to get in based on where price is within that phase analysis construction. And then again, everything that I talked about here, counting the waves, watching the range, the type of bar that it is, where it's closing, the volume levels, the divergence, the reversal patterns, all of it lines up so that we can get that opportunity. We switch over to the point and figure once we see this setup here, and it becomes really obvious when point and figure gives us that entry. Now there are different patterns with point and figure that I trade off of. We can trade off of triple top, triple bottom, double top, double bottom, reversals, breakouts, catapults, semi-catapults. There are different strategies within the point and figure structure that give us precise entries. And then based on the number of columns within the structure of whatever I'm looking at, whether it's accumulation or distribution, that's going to give me the count, which is, the count is the target. The count meaning the projected price target. Sometimes you'll hear people refer to it as fuel in the tank. So how much fuel is in the tank for a move to the upside? The longer price remains inside of a phase of consolidation like this, the more we build up that cause where smart money is acquiring or distributing. The longer it stays there, the more they acquire or the more they distribute, and the bigger the overall move once it breaks out of that consolidation. So let's go back to the point and figure one last time, and then we'll take a look at that setup. I'll show you exactly how we're able to calculate that take profit level for a total of 90 pips. Some of these trades pay 169 pips. Some of the trades pay 200 pips. So, and I'm not joking when I say that when you start using a system like this, and you're tracking volume, you're watching, analyzing the waves, you're analyzing the phases, tracking smart money, looking at these clues, getting your pinpoint entry with the point and figure, and then that take profit target, you're not scalping anymore. Most of the trades are going to be 60, 70, 90 pips, 200 pips. So you can calculate your risk to, or your reward to risk. So as I mentioned earlier, some people want nothing less than a 2-for-1 on their trades. Some people want a 3-for-1. But if you don't know how to calculate this, I highly recommend you learn how to use point and figure, because point and figure is going to give you that calculation. It's going to tell you how far price is going to go. Now, before we move on, I want to show you a few other charts, and my coaching students are able to apply these methodologies to not only day trading opportunities, but many of them are also swing traders. Many of them operate full-time businesses. They have full-time jobs, so they have a limited amount of time. And then I have other coaching students that are actually investors, and they're using the same methods, the same wave counting methods, analyzing the phases of consolidation, whether it's distribution or accumulation, looking for the signs of smart money stepping into the markets. And this is a monthly chart. This is actually monthly. This is an oil chart here, and you can see that we're going all the way back here to 2007 right here. This is the peak during 2008. And this provides my coaching students a really wonderful opportunity that they can sit back and they can have very pinpoint, precise entries, even on a larger time frame, such as a monthly chart. You can see back here in this was October and November of 2020, and you can see right there it starts to accelerate. That's November, and it bounces right off of that level of support. So again, we identify these phases of, whether it's, again, accumulation or distribution, the phases of consolidation with the buying climax or a selling climax, depending on which direction it's moving in prior. And then we get the automatic reaction. We get a clearly defined level of resistance and support. And then we track the behavior. Again, as I mentioned, sometimes it can take quite a while for that campaign, the smart money, the campaign, the composite operator, to actually move throughout this process and either acquire more shares or distribute more shares, depending on the agenda. And then we go back over to the point and figure charts. So we set up our point and figure charts to mimic what we would expect to see here and what we see on the monthly time frame. And then we get a very precise entry, and we know exactly how far price is going to move based on the setups. So let me show you a couple of other examples here. This is actually, this is the gold futures. This is a 4-hour chart. So I have some swing traders, coaching students that are actually going through this work on the 4-hour time frame. This is here what we're looking at. This is the Dow. This is a 5-minute, so this is a faster pace opportunity. We're looking for quick day trades. And then this final chart here, this is natural gas. This is a daily time frame. So all of these methods, all of these, the whole structure, the entire system can be used whether you're an investor, a swing trader, a day trader. And it's a wonderful opportunity because at that point you get to pick and choose the better trade locations, and you'll notice that when you find these opportunities, that you tend to be on the right side of smart money as it steps in and starts to make that more faster, aggressive move. So in just a moment, I'll share with you the inside of the trading course, exactly what you're going to be receiving when you join this program and how it will help you. I'll show you that in just a moment. Right now, though, I'd like to quickly share some of the experiences that some of my coaching students have gone through. Before I move on, though, I'd like to say that I actually have references. I have people that you can speak to that are currently in the program and people that have gone through the program in the past, and they'll explain to you just how much it's changed their trading for the better, their results, and what it's like to work with me. So I do have references that are available upon request. Just let me know that you're interested in talking to them, and I'll make arrangements. And if you ever have any questions about my program, I always recommend that anybody who's thinking about it and they just want those last few questions answered, and they want to sort of get an opportunity to qualify me as their new coach, I'm always open for a phone call. You can send me a private message through Facebook or in the group, and let me know that you want to speak to me. I am in California, so I'm on Pacific time. Let me share with you this testimonial that I received from one coaching student. It reads, this message is from my family as much as it is from me. I would like to start off by saying thank you so much for all your help, and this is from the bottom of my heart. I watched several of your videos on your website before signing up as your student, and you mentioned in many of your videos that most of your students have a lot of trading experience before finding you. I'm one of those guys. I've been trading for 4 years, and as much as I hate to admit it, I've blown up 3 trading accounts. My wife is extremely upset with me the last time I did it, and she made me promise to stop trading because it always ended the same way. Then a few months back, I saw one of your tweets, clicked on one of the links to your site, and then watched the first 3 videos you had. You then sent me a link to watch a coaching webinar, and I watched the whole thing. I haven't seen anything like it. I have tried many signal services and chat rooms, and they just don't say the things you say. That's the first thing that stood out to me. I waited a couple of days later, and then I watched a few other short videos of you, and then I decided you were the guy that could really help me this time, but I had to get my wife involved because I didn't feel I could trust my judgment. She listened to your video, and she said, if this guy's lying, he's got to be the best BS artist because I can even understand what he's saying. She was so impressed, and after 2 more days of talking to her, I convinced her to support me and let me try Forex trading one more time with your guidance. I also appreciate that you took the time to talk to her on Skype, too. You didn't really have to do that, but it shows that you're willing to help me and shows that you have nothing to hide. Thank you again. So this is another one that I received, and this one reads, I've been throwing myself at Forex every way I could for 2 years. I've spent up to 18 hours a day in front of my charts. I've made thousands of trades. I'm passionate about trading. It's not for everyone, but trading is for me. I love it. I cannot stop. And I've taken lots of training. So I came to you ready and with a certain level of experience and knowledge and commitment. But I was not making any money until 1 month ago. And I'm doing it with your 3 strategies. I've abandoned my swing trades altogether. I just day trade using your strategies. I also want to say that if you were not providing the help, I don't think I'd be having this success. The help makes a big difference. It's very important to me. When I feel nervous about being able to continue to succeed, I take refuge in knowing that you are available to help me. That increases my confidence, and confidence is a big part of my trading success. I think the most important thing is that I really am using your day trading strategies. I'm not using anyone else's, and I will never be able to thank you enough, and that's the real truth. I love these messages. This is what really encourages me. I get that question quite a bit. Why do you do it? Well, first of all, I know exactly what it feels like. Like I told you my story. I lost half of the money that I had put into my trading account, and that money came from a business that I sold, and I wasn't too sure that I was going to get that money back, and I was scared. I was really, really nervous about the whole thing. I knew I wasn't going to quit, but I was pretty scared about how I was going to get it back because there wasn't anybody for me to talk to. I mentored a student who had over 3 years trading experience. She was struggling, spending more than 16 hours a day, and still wasn't producing consistent results until she started using the same methodologies that I teach in this magic trading model. That's what I used to call it. I used to call it the magic trading model. And in 24 hours, she earned over 1,200 pips. This was her best day ever. That's no joke. That was not double counting. The message read, just want to drop a line and thank you for the material that you sent me the other day. You really didn't have to do that. I really appreciate it. You're one of a kind in this business. One of the good guys for sure. The new material really is really fantastic. Last night I traded just one of the setups you showed and on 3 different pairs, and I made over $2,000. Thanks again and have a great weekend. Now I remember I was talking to him on Skype. So when you actually become a student in this coaching program, there's a 30-minute call that you and I go have on the telephone. Skype, we can also do screen sharing if you want. And so there's an onboarding document. And then once I go through that material, I get on the phone with my coaching students so that I can point them in the right direction. So another student, I helped him make over 700 pips in a 24-hour period. This took about 2 months after the coaching. Now, that's a question that I get is, sometimes people will say, how long is it going to take me to get this stuff? It can happen almost like right after you watch the first video. It really depends on the amount of time, of course, how much you're paying attention. If you're watching it on your phone while you're at work, you might have to watch the video a couple of times. But the modules, what you learn in module 1, teaches you the foundation of what I just explained to you on these charts just moments ago. So within 1, 2, 3 lessons, you're already sitting back and you're thinking to yourself, I get this. Like, this is the stuff that I should have started off with. And that is something that I hear over and over again from coaching students that have experience. So that's what this gentleman went through. He actually had to take some time off, though, because he was working full time. So he had to stop, but he wanted to get into the program. He stopped training with me and then had to finish off some things at work. He was doing a couple of extra shifts at work. And then once that was out of the way, then he came back into the coaching program and he continues to operate the way most of my coaching students do today. They're trading their own accounts. Some of them actually trade for their own small managed funds for close investors. Now here's another one, and this was centered more around economic data. I get that other question, do you trade the news? And I really don't. Like I know that the news could have an impact on price, but the fact that I'm trading at specific times using point and figure, I don't get into the trade until there's some kind of movement and a change in the volatility. Again, as I've mentioned many times, based on the way I create and construct that chart. So news doesn't really have too much of an impact on my trades. I can see it moving around, but it isn't anything that I use to determine whether or not I should get into the trade. It is all technical, and the news is built into what we see as far as the price action. Smart money's aware of all of this. When we're trading with smart money, we're following them. Non-farm payroll is no big deal with Joseph trading methods. I entered the pound and the CAD prior to news using a continuation breakout trade in a T1 setup. This is another a strategy that I teach my coaching students. All the rules he teaches were followed. I learned over the last month that when I follow his rules, my trades always win. I know that sounds impossible, but I entered 12 correct trades this week, and all 12 trades paid me 418 pips on my live account. I've been trading live 3 weeks now, and I can't believe it's true, but it is. So I'll go ahead and stop there. This is actually on my website, so you can read more of these testimonials on my website, but I want to move you through what the inside of the coaching program actually looks like. So let me show you the inside of the coaching program. Okay, so what I want to do right now is show you the inside of the online trading course. This is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all throughout the year. There's never a time that it's down, unless, of course, there's like some kind of issue with the website. That usually just takes a little while to fix it. But this is lifetime access. So once you get into the coaching program, you have lifetime access to all of the material that's here. So you don't have to worry about, trying to get through all the material as quick as possible and watching all the videos within a short specified period of time and then getting cut off. I don't do that. You're always going to have access to this for as long as you want to continue to use it. Now, there's a few different things that, to be aware of as far as the where everything is kind of located. So most of my coaching students will spend a lot of their time watching the live coaching call replays. So if they miss them, so every Wednesday at 4:30 Eastern time, I do a live coaching call. And that live coaching call is available for you to come in and ask more questions, or to sit and watch other people ask questions. And then if nobody really has any questions and everybody's up to speed and everybody's fine for the day, we review sort of the trade of the day. I kind of refer to it as the trade of the day. So there's always, I can't say always, but usually there's going to be an opportunity for us to talk about a particular trade that sets up exactly as we talk about in the learning videos that everybody goes through. And it's like a perfect opportunity because it's fresh, right? It's something that they can actually open up their charts and go straight to that particular entry and diagnose or dissect whatever the issue was. So if they're having a problem, we're going to diagnose what's going on. I do, again, all of this live. I'm using my microphone. It's all being recorded. And then if they have any problems or any questions, or if they have a failed trade or something that they feel that they were doing wrong, I can correct them. So you get access to all of that. And that is also lifetime. There isn't monthly payments or anything like that you have to keep on paying. You pay once and you're a member for as long as you want to continue to use this material. Now, I've structured this in a way so that when you first start off, you're going to be able to use the same chart programs that I use. So the point and figures charts that you've seen, I'm going to give you access to that. And that is actually a 30-day trial. It's an old school charting program that I've been using for many, many years. And it's called Fibonacci Trader Charts. So every month it's $55. You don't have to use it. There are some free options out there. And I do have a section here where I provide you with some of the free options to even as if you're interested in getting point and figure, you can even use point and figure for free on some of these chart programs. I would be careful with them. It doesn't necessarily mean because they're free that they won't work. They're pretty good, but I really like my Fibonacci Trader chart. So you're welcome to use it for the first 30 days. It's a demo, and I walk you through exactly how to set it up and how to set up your charts just like mine. So, one of the big issues for a lot of people when they start looking at point and figure is they think, I don't know how to construct a point and figure. I have no idea what point and figure is. That's okay. At one point, you didn't know what a candle was, and you didn't know what candlestick patterns were. There was always that first day and that first experience. Same thing here. It's going to be easy. Trust me, it's easy. Point and figure is easy. It's easy to get the hang of it. It's easy to understand the mechanics and what makes it move, what causes another X or another zero. That's some of the exercises that I actually put my coaching students through. So there's real simple exercises. I teach them how to construct by hand a point and figure chart. Those are the exercises that they go through. And then they move on to start using the actual chart program that generates the point and figure charts. But I want them to understand the mechanics behind it. Same thing with the wave counting method. So sometimes we'll look at volume, and you can see that in some of the videos I had two different volume indicators. And I actually share one of them here. You can actually download the volume indicator, the average, and then put that onto your charts as well. And I show you how to put the whole thing together. So you're not going to be on your own trying to figure it out and learn a new charting program. I know that in order to get you to speed and to get you quickly into the charts so you can start executing these trades and finding them, just the way I do in these videos, it's important that I get you to set up your charts as quick as possible without wasting a bunch of extra time. Module 1, this is where you're going to learn the mechanics and the basics of trading. Being able to read and understand and spot supply and demand. And as smart money moves in and out of the markets, I'm teaching you that structure. So you have to understand, and we structure our charts in a way that we can track where the smart money is likely to get in and out as it starts to unfold as we expect it to. That is also confirmation throughout that process. We wait for very specific opportunities to get into the trades. We're not getting into trades all day long. We're not scalping here. We're looking for trades that are going to pay 2 to 1, 3 to 1, sometimes even 4 to 1. And we can determine that because of the count with the point and figure chart. Then from that point, we move on to the next module where you start learning the wave counting method and using volume. And I start showing you how to look for that footprint, the smart money footprint with volume, the reversals, the candle patterns or the bar chart patterns. And again, that's also very easy. It's not going to require you to spend 3, 4, 5 weeks studying different patterns before you get a chance to execute a trade. That's not what we do here. I teach you straight to the core, right, getting you the information so that you could watch the video and then immediately go to your charts and start looking for it. And you'll be able to find it. You'll be able to spot it right away. That's module 2. So that's the wave counting and using wave and bar range analysis. Module 3, that's where we start getting into the point and figure. And in Module 3, that's where I show you how to construct by hand a point and figure chart. There's some exercises in there. You do it with me. Only takes like 15, 20 minutes. And then from that point on, then you go to your charts, your chart program. Like, let's say you were to use Fibonacci trader charts like I do, and I show you how to set up your point and figure charts just like I do. So different markets require different settings. So if you're going to trade commodities, if you're going to trade stocks, if you're going to trade indices, if you're going to trade Forex or Bitcoin, crypto, there's different settings that you want to be aware of, and I show you how to do that in the Module 3. So nothing is left to chance. You're not guessing here at all. So again, all of this information can be applied to any time frame. It's all up to you, and in any market. It's not exclusive to just Forex. The system and the entries and the patterns and the behavior and the learning lessons, it's all the same. That's the real wonderful thing about using a program like this, is that once you understand how the markets work, you can apply it to any market. We have advanced techniques. I may have mentioned it earlier. There's like double tops, triple tops, double bottoms, triple bottoms, breakouts, catapults, semi-catapults, things like that, reversals that we're trading with the point and figure, and they're really effective patterns. I'm also going to teach you how to create the count, so I talk about that quite a bit. What's the count? It's, some people refer to it as the fuel in the tank. How far is it going to go? Where is that take profit target based on the point and figure? So I show you how to do that. As far as the coaching, I mentioned down here at the very, very bottom, there's a section right here, live coaching calls. So all the live coaching calls on Wednesday get dropped in here. So if you miss any, you can watch the replay. And most of my coaching students just watch these videos over and over again, because we talk about, of course, everything that you learn, but you get to see it in real time with real trades as each week or each progressive, as the day progresses throughout the day or throughout the week, you get to go back and see something that's very, very fresh in your mind. And you may have tried to trade it, or let's say look at the charts at that time and you think, oh, there it was. He described the whole thing. So again, you're going to be seeing real trades, trades that sometimes I will put my coaching students. It's not a trade signal service. No, it's not a trade alert service, but I am available to help you confirm and to analyze the trades that you're considering. It is kept to a very small, limited number of people, because there's so much one-on-one and personal attention that I give to all of my coaching students. This section right down here where you can see it reads prop trading, qualification, and coaching. I was talking about that earlier. So if you find that, I talk about trading standard lots and earning $10 a pip, let's say, if you're trading Forex. And that's good money, right? I mean, if we have a move like that one that I showed you that paid 90 pips, if you're earning $10 a point, that's about $900 on a trade. That's a really good trade. That's a lot of money, right? And I had one coaching student, he just started with me, and he executed 2 standard lots on his own account. So he earned approximately $1,800. It moved 90 pips, but he had 2 lots. So that's why he was able to earn approximately $1,800. That's a great trade. Now, if you have a smaller trading account, and let's say you've got like 3, maybe 5,000, maybe 12,000 dollars in your trading account, you're not going to be able to trade a standard lot. But you may want to, right? You may want to get to the point. It's just going to be easier. The more money you have, the larger the position, the larger the size of the trade, and the more money you're going to make on the trade. So you got to get there. You want to get to that point where you can start bringing in money like this. So $1,800 on one day, if the next day it's only 50 pips, that's $500, and if he's got 2 lots, there's $1,000. So you're making really good money consistently. So you got to get to that point. What would help you get there if you just don't have enough money in your account? And the proprietary or the prop trading firms, they have what they call is like a qualification phase. So there's many of them out there. They've been around for a while. And basically, if you pass and you are a qualified, consistent trader, they want you to trade their money. They want you to trade for them. There's not too many people. There's a lot of people that try, and there's a lot of people that think that they've got it going on, and then they blow up their accounts towards the end, or they don't have the structure. They don't have the mechanics. They don't understand what you understand here and what we're teaching in these in this program. So they're looking for people who are consistent and understand these principles and can generate profits every single month. If you can do this, if you get to the point where you're profitable and you're consistent, you can keep 70% of the profits. So let's just say, for example, you're trading and you make 500 pips in 1 month, and you're trading standard lots, and you're trading, let's say, 1 standard lot. That would be $5,000. If you're trading 2 standard lots, if they give you a $100,000 trading account, you could potentially trade 2 standard lots. So if you're making 500 pips, that's not a lot. You could make 500 pips in a month. If you're making 500 pips in a month and you have 2 standard lots on that trade, now you're making $10,000 on the trade. So $10,000 for the month, you're going to be able to keep 70% of it approximately. But you have to pass. You have to qualify. You have to be consistent. So this program right here, I put my coaching students through this program right here at the very last module after they've completed the first 4 modules and they understand my trading system. They understand. So I put them through a small testing phase. I talk to them on the phone. We do screen sharing with Skype. And I help you get qualified and go through that 2-month program so that you can work for a prop trading firm. And they will give you that $100,000 trading account. But you have to understand everything that we're teaching here before you can get to that stage. You can't put one before the other, of course. And I know it's exciting. It really is to think about the opportunity that you could actually trade somebody else's money. And it's not your own money, right? You don't have to put your own money. Let's say you've got $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, but you're afraid, right? You don't trust yourself. You've had bad experiences in the past. I know. I was there. I would have been afraid to do it. So, I get it. I know exactly where you're coming from. I was there at one point in time. So we can get you past this. We can put you through this program, and then I will guide you. You tell me that this is what you want to do, and then I'll put you in this program right here, and then I will assist you during that 2-month trial qualification phase. I can't guarantee that you're going to pass because that's up to you. You've got to execute the trades. You've got to do the work. But I will teach you, and I will be there, and I will support you. I will help you review your trades. I will help you stay on track. I will help you get qualified. I'll do my share to make sure that you get to the point where you can qualify for that $100,000 trading account. And eventually, I think that they will give you a much larger trading account, much more than 100,000. I don't know the details. Every company's a little bit different. But this is something to think about. It really is an opportunity. So let me show you the inside of or the details about what you're going to get, the inside of everything that you're going to be receiving. Okay, so I'll start to wrap things up here, and I'm going to show you exactly what you get with the program. So it is titled the Forex Mastery Traders Course, but don't let that fool you. This works with any market. It really does. It works with any market, any time frame. Day traders, swing traders, any type of trader, investor. It works really, really well with investors, as I mentioned before, showing you some of those charts on the larger time frame. So let me walk you through this page. This is actually the sign-up page on my website. So if you go to forexdaytradingacademy.com/FMTC-enroll, ENROLL, I'll go ahead and put a link to that. If you have any questions about it, please send me a private message through Facebook Messenger, or you can send me an email. There's also a live chat box right to the lower right-hand side of this page. It's just out of the window over here. I got it. The recording it's kind of cropped out there. But anyway, if you click on it, it will, if we're not online at that time, you can send us an email and you can ask any of the questions. So I also mentioned that sometimes my coaching students have like these last few little questions that aren't being answered, or something kind of pops up and they're not too comfortable with it yet, but they want to talk to somebody. So I'm always willing to talk to you. All you got to do is send me a message and we'll schedule a time for us to get on the phone and I can answer all of your questions. So if you go through the material here, the first half obviously is just kind of breaking down exactly who it's for, what it'll do, where it is. It's all online, 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access, 365 days. You get lifetime access to all of it. And here I start to break down exactly what it's going to do for you. Like, what are you going to learn? You're going to be able to learn how to project price targets using the point and figure charts. I'm going to teach you how to do that. You can day trade, swing trade, invest with point and figure charts. You're going to understand behavioral finance. These are the things that a lot of traders miss in the beginning of their trading career. They don't know that they need this. I didn't know that I needed this. I was too excited. I just wanted to open up a chart, put some indicators on there, and get to trading. It's just not like that. And you gotta stop and think. You're up against the greatest traders. They will take your money if you don't know how to follow them, track them, and trade alongside with them. Zoom is what we use for all of our homework sessions, which are basically the coaching calls. So if we go down here a little bit further, I talk about why you need to do this, again, how it's going to help you. Here are some examples of coaching students that have gone through the program and how, some of them are really quick. The results that they get are very, it's astounding, because as I said, you're going to have these eye-opening experiences as you go through the material, and you're going to realize right away, if you've been trading for some time, that it is the information that you probably should have started off with. You just didn't know you needed it. So again, it's going to be very easy to follow along. Here's some more testimonials from a lot of my coaching students here. I'll let you go ahead and read them. Some of them actually report how many points or pips or profits, the dollar amount that they earn on a daily or annual or a monthly basis. All of it's there. I do have a deeper description about my background and my history. I talk about how I started off my first managed fund back in 2005. This is my trading account. So if I scroll all the way down here, you can see exactly what you get inside of the program. So you get access to the online course. You get private coaching, the private coaching group. Again, we do this every Wednesday, but you also get private sessions with me. You just have to schedule them. I work around your schedule. You're going to get all the tools, the chart programs, MT4 templates if you need them, trader resources, the same charting program that I use. And I mentioned that I offer my coaching students a kickoff call. This is 30 minutes. This is where I can get more information. There is a onboarding document. So as soon as you complete the checkout and you sign up to get into the program, you're going to be redirected to a thank you page. On that thank you page, there's an onboarding document. So you're going to fill out that onboarding document with as much information as you want to give me. The more information I have, so that I can get a better, clear understanding of what you're doing, how you trade, your experiences, good and bad. And then we schedule a call. So with that information, I can give you a better sense of direction. And I also create a roadmap so that I can walk you through the modules. Because again, there's some videos in there that you may not really need to waste your time on. I want you to get access to the information that's going to help you right away. What it is that you need today that will help you so that I can get you results right away. And then of course, I'm going to give you my telephone number. You can text me questions. If I'm not sleeping, I will answer. And then here I mentioned this prop trading qualification and coaching. That is at the bottom, the last module. It's only available if you're interested in it and if you've gone through the first 4 modules. And so I'm going to help you. I'm going to test you. I'm going to be your coach. I'm going to guide you through that process if your goal ultimately is to trade for a prop trading firm. So the total value of everything you're going to get today is $12,175. You do not pay $12,175. You just make a one-time payment of $997. There are no additional monthly fees, nothing else to buy. You have lifetime access, and all you have to do is just click this add to cart button, and it'll open up a new window where you can complete the checkout with your credit card details. As soon as you complete that checkout, you're going to be redirected to the thank you page, which is really the membership area. It's the first page. And then you're going to complete that onboarding document. As soon as you submit that onboarding document, you're going to get a link to go straight into the online course that I showed you just a moment ago with all the different modules, so you can get started right away. And that concludes our presentation today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time that you spent watching and learning with me today. I hope that I gave you a much better understanding of what my coaching program is, how it will help you, why you need it, and why it actually stands out far and above all the other online trading courses that are out there. Again, if you have any last minute questions, send me an email, send me a message in Facebook Messenger, or over here on the bottom right hand corner, there's a little pop-up window right there. You can click on that and you can send me a message through the website. You can schedule a time, we can get on the phone, or you can simply just send your questions and I can answer them through text. And I promise, once you start going through this material and you learn this methodology, you're never going to look at the charts the same way again. And you can finally start earning a living from trading. It is a wonderful experience and I want you to have that too. So if you're ready, again, click the add to cart button, and I'm looking forward to our coaching calls. I'm looking forward to talking to you. I can't wait to get started with you. Thanks again for your time.